Pretty big updates from superstar President Donald Trump. He made some major announcements today and discussed some important topics at the White House Faith and Business Summit. Also, he gave Russian President Vladimir Putin a last warning while taking jabs at Biden and crybaby Governor Gavin Newsom, which made him go on a panic attack playing defense online, making himself look like a fool.
We had a great meeting with NATO, the Secretary General, and uh, we're going to do something a little different for this country. We're going to supply weapons to NATO at a large amount. They're going to deliver the weapons, and they're going to pay for 100% of the weapons. So, little different. And little different. Hi, Joe. So we're really that's a big thing, and we thought we had 4 deals, Howard, right, with Putin. Somehow they end and uh, we get off the phone. Oh, that was a very nice conversation. And then he sends missiles into buildings someplace. I said, what was that all about? So anyway, so we're going to be doing that with NATO, and it's fully approved, fully done. We'll send them a lot of uh, weapons of all kinds, and they're going to deliver those weapons immediately to the site of the war, different sites of the war, and they're going to pay for 100% of them. This all was made possible by going from 2 to 5% a month ago when I went there. Fine. Well, and those countries, those European countries, and I said, look, we have an ocean. It's not fair that we did, because under the Biden administration, we paid about 3.5 times more than they did. We were in for 350 billion, got nothing for it. We were in for 350, and they were in for 100. So, which really meant one thing, because you have great business leaders here. It meant very simply that they were better negotiators than our president was. But so this is a very important thing, and hopefully that will come to an end at the end of 50 days. If we don't have a deal, then we're going to have to do. We have no choice but to do secondary tariffs. You call it secondary tariffs, which are pretty tough, which we don't want to have to do. But let's see what happens. But we thought we had a deal numerous times. I'd get home, I'd say, First Lady, I had the most wonderful talk with Vladimir. I think we're finished. And then I'll turn on the television, or she'll say to me one time, wow, that's strange because they just bombed a nursing home. I said, what? So we don't like that.
So you do have to give President Trump some props here because he isn't afraid of failure. He said he put 4 deals on the table, didn't get a deal done. He thought he would go through, but there's a couple ways to look at this. Putin internally probably doesn't want to sign a deal and end up in a little bit of a controversy like Xi Jinping was in China with Trump's trade deal. So you don't want to hear any talks of a coup if you're inside Russia, right? So there's probably a lot of internal talks going on with the Russian elites. And secondly, I hate to admit it, but there are a lot of prominent politicians on both sides of the aisle in America, which they do not want to see this war be over. They want the war to continue. So it's a lot to deal with. But at the end of the day, I am glad that we actually have a president that is taking strides, unlike the last administration.
Under the Trump administration, America is prospering and America is winning like never before. Our country is back. So I was in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and then a month ago we were in Europe with all of the NATO countries, European countries, and plus Canada. And almost everyone said almost the exact same words. They said, 1 year ago, your country was dead. Terrible term, but that's what it is. Your country was dead. We thought it was finished.
So did you catch that? Trump basically said all those leaders were calling us a laughingstock under the Biden administration. And if you're probably wondering what that pivot point was at that time, if you can recall, it had to be the time when Joe Biden was walking around on the grass at the G7 ceremony, and the prime minister from the Italian prime minister had to grab him and kind of turn him around and be like, okay, we're taking a picture now. And then Biden slowly lifted up his aviator glasses so slow. And as he was putting them on, like trying to be cool.
And now you've got the hottest country anywhere in the world. It's true. is the hottest country. Did you see they found $25 billion of essentially profits last night? They said, where did it come from? It came from management, but it came from tariffs. And it came from, you know, good business skill. And I've always made money. Now I'm making it for you people. I've had good days and bad days, but in good days and bad days, I always found a way to make money, and we have to do that for our country. But and we did 188 billion in Scott just now, 188 billion in tariffs, 188, and we haven't even started yet. That's only for cars and steel. We actually have barely started. The economy is roaring, business confidence is soaring, incomes are up, prices are down, and inflation is dead.
So even when the economy is running really smoothly, you didn't hear the Democrats talking about the economy when it was going crazy under the Biden administration, but you have Representative Eric Swalwell that says Trump thinks inflation is going down, but tomorrow he's going to be proven wrong again. I expect the year-over-year CPI inflation to rise and keep rising as the Trump tariff tax kicks in. Trump promised he'd lower prices on day one. It's day 176, and he's 0 for 176. See, it's really sad to see someone like Eric Swalwell, a California Democrat that just cannot let America succeed. They want America to fail, and you could just see it right there. It's really pathetic at the end of the day.
Gas prices have reached the lowest level in 5 decades. Actually, we're going to see some really good numbers with, drill, baby, drill, drill, baby, drill. I got to make sure that people can afford to produce the gas, but the gas has gone to the lowest level in decades. And you're seeing $1.99, $1.98, and I saw $1.95 at certain states, not California, because every time it goes down, they add taxes onto it. You're at $6, $7. They just add taxes. All they do is they keep adding taxes. Terrible governor doesn't know what he's doing. He may be a candidate, but if you go by success, you can't have him be a candidate.
See, Gavin Newsom did not like that. He basically put out a quick post. 2/3 of California's power now comes from renewable and zero carbon electricity generation, making us the largest economy in the world to achieve this milestone. While superstar President Donald Trump turns his back on common sense, we're making our clean energy future a reality. Yeah, the sad reality about all that is California energy prices are sky high. But his press office continued, they kept on going. They also mimicked what he said and then went on to say the president continues to lie about gas prices in California. Will a staffer please update his memory card? They go on to say facts. California's average gas price is nowhere near $6 or $7. See AAA. In fact, gas is cheaper than it was last week, cheaper than it was last month, and cheaper than it was last year. One can say superstar President Donald Trump helped with that. But what's really ironic is the Governor Newsom press office, which is the Walmart version of Kamala HQ, did not want to actually put out the real gas prices on there, the average, because it's still way above the national average. You have someone like Kevin Dalton even point out, I wonder why Gavin Newsom didn't include the part where Californians pay some of the highest energy costs in the country, which is absolutely correct and is absolutely wild to me that someone like Gavin Newsom and everyone on his team is trying to make him look all good when we all know it's not good. Moving forward in Trump's speech, this is how he ended it. And obviously, the liberal lapdog media doesn't want anyone to put this on television.
But we're going to be working together to protect our children. And with the grace of God and the blessing of providence, we will lead our country to heights that it's never seen before. I think we're going to be more successful in many ways, but I think we're going to be more successful than we've ever been. And I do think this, if we didn't catch it, if we would have lost this election, our country was finished. I think it was that we were run by incompetent people. We were run by an auto pen and nobody knows who used it. I think it's one of the biggest scandals in the history of our country. We were run by an auto pen. Nobody has any idea who used it, including Biden. He doesn't know. Saw that interview yesterday. He knew nothing. So it's a very terrible. We're against an evil group of people, and they're very smart, very smart. He's not, but they are. They took over the Oval Office. They actually took over the Oval Office. We can never let a thing like that happen again.
So that's been the talk lately is the auto pen, but let's just face it, everyone can have an opinion on this. Some people could say that well, there's no way you could prove it, this and that. The way I look at it is like, well, if Biden was too old to be charged for the documents case, then you know what? If he was too old and senile, then I'm pretty sure we all know that he was too old and senile to even know what was going on with the auto pen.